What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ProRevenge. This story's called, I recorded a coworker loving himself at work for eating my chocolate. Please respectfully correct me if you see typos or anything because English is not my first language and I want to get better at it. Also, this is my first post here. Before you get to that part, I need to clarify that yes, I have a video, but I would never post it or anything because I would get in trouble for it and because it is a ridiculous story. It's up to you if you believe it or not. Let's name everyone involved in this. John, my boyfriend, the designer. Jenny, me, I mostly did video. Sarah, another coworker, she was the best photographer there. Mario. To say that he was useless is an understatement. The reason why I'm writing this. Donna, the director's assistant. Amy, the accountant. Years ago, I worked in a government institution where I live. It wasn't a good job. It was basically volunteer paid work that was an excuse to not give employees any security a real job would offer, but I accepted because I needed the money and I had just finished college. I used to work in the communication department with 4 other coworkers. One of them was my boyfriend, still together to this day, and the youngest one, Mario, was a guy who was still in high school and got his girlfriend pregnant. His mom worked in another government institution and she got him that job. That's one of the reasons the boss couldn't fire him. We had to make designs, take pictures, do video, post on social media, check on the press when they wanted an interview with one of our bosses, and many other things. Mario was supposed to know some about photography and design because he told us that's what he was studying at school, but we knew later that he didn't attend school often. So he was very bad at almost everything, and we tried to show him how to do his work, but he was really stubborn and lazy. He never completely learned how to do the basic work. He always had problems with many people, not with us at the beginning because he acted polite. That changed later. He was disrespectful in taking pictures, he was late almost every day, and he used to post on social media about government and fight other people who didn't agree with him. Sarah and John would talk to him about how working in a government institution, you couldn't do that. It's simply not okay. However, he never changed and told his mom we were against him. Mario went to work around 2 to 4 hours a day. Usually John and Sarah would be the only ones to see him because they worked more hours than the rest of us, but he would stay in the office around 1 or 2 hours alone, or they would send him to take pictures for the same time. One day he had to take pictures of some event practice. Everyone else was off the clock. It wasn't a big event and he had been working there around a year by that time, so we thought that he could go by himself. The accountant had to go there and decided to take him with her and one other coworker of hers in her car. He was late again and that's why he couldn't go in one of the work cars. The accountant left her purse open in that space that's in the middle of the driver and co-driver seat. When they went back to the office, she noticed her wallet disappeared. She instantly knew that it had to have been Mario who took it. They began to search him and our office and found nothing. Somebody found the wallet under the vending machine. At first, we took his side because they admitted that they never found anything, and because it wasn't right to search in our office without anybody else there, mostly because we had photography equipment that wasn't exactly cheap. However, when we knew how the wallet was found and when we talked to him, we knew it was him. More money and stuff disappeared when he was there, but nobody could prove he took them. The bosses didn't want to create a scandal, so they let it happen. Our office used to be the conference room, so it was attached to the kitchen, and the director had beverages there for visits. We could use the kitchen, but not touch those beverages. But Mario couldn't even get in there. Anyway, the sodas began to disappear, and the director's assistant complained to us. We said we didn't take them, and she wouldn't believe us. One day, John noticed that our door to the kitchen was broken, and that you could pick the lock easily. With a pencil, we used to find pencils utensils without tips, he took it inside the mechanism and the door opened. It took time, but we proved that Mario was getting in the kitchen when nobody else was there. However, that didn't make a difference and nothing was done, not even talking to him. One day, John and I were on our way to work, but I didn't have breakfast, so we stopped at a store. I bought something to eat and a chocolate. I put it inside the fridge and forgot about it. The next day, I remembered it and went to check. It wasn't there and I got mad. John and I checked the trash can. It was clean and empty and we just watched. And we found just little pieces of that chocolate. So we asked for a video camera that someone offered us before. It could record for long hours. I want to clarify at this point that we didn't make the decision of everything you are about to read just because of a chocolate. The chocolate was the last straw. For like a year, we had to put up with our bosses scolding us because of him. He never wanted to learn how to do his job and things were always disappearing, including personal things. The first day, Donna left money in one of her drawers and left it slightly open so he could see the money. We put the camera in the other building that was in front of ours. We had big windows, floor to ceiling, and you could watch Donna's desk and the hallway. Some lady's office, our door, and the director's office. The other building just had empty offices then, but had big curtains. That's why Mario couldn't see the camera. We went home that day and left the camera recording. The next day, there was the money, maybe because we left one bill equivalent to $5, and he knew we would know he took it. I checked the camera and watched him getting in the lady's office. I don't know what she did there. And he took some cookies from her office, but he looked suspicious. Again, with this, we couldn't do much, so that night, John found an old cell phone that could record for 2 hours. The next day, Donna left the $5 again, but now she left $1 in the same drawer slightly open. We placed the camera in the other building and John disguised his old cell phone with a binder and some sticky tape. That day, he was alone for a little less than 2 hours and left. John and I had a car, so we were at the mall close by, just killing time, and then we went back for the cell phone. Oh my god! John watched a little bit of the video before the battery died, and he said that he saw something weird, but wasn't sure because the screen was very damaged and we were in the car. I was driving. When we got to John's house, we could watch everything he had done inside our office. Not the other camera, because the building was closed and we didn't have access to it until the next day. First, we saw him getting into the office, watching some YouTube, everything normal. Then he went out. When he came back, we saw him putting something in his pocket, but it wasn't clear what. Then we saw how easily he took a pencil, opened the kitchen's door, and took something like a yogurt. Then he closed the door. Then we could hear that he was watching something like a channel that's very famous in our country. But then we heard noises. Yeah, those kinds of noises. We were supposed to have blocked those kinds of videos and websites. I mean, those were government offices, and the IT team had checked everything recently. But somehow, he was watching video of the adult variety on the computer I used to work at. And if you're thinking that he did what you're thinking, the answer is yes. Thank God the cell phone didn't record his hands, but you could see his shoulder moving and him licking his finger. I know, very disgusting. Well, he finished and didn't even wash his hands. I was so shocked and disgusted when I saw that I wanted to cry. The next day, the first thing I did was to call the IT department to clean the computer. We didn't say why because of obvious reasons. John took the camera and we could watch him when he went out of the office and checked carefully if somebody was around. Then he went to Donna's desk and took $1. He went inside the woman's office and took something, but we couldn't see what. Then he went into our office. We called Donna to our office and she was shocked. Then Sarah watched the video as soon as she got there. Then the director arrived and we asked him and Amy to go to our office. We showed them the video. The director was very young and trusted us a lot, so he didn't hold his laughter when the self-love pat began. Amy was a young and delicate woman, so she just turned around and covered her eyes while letting a small scream out. We finally get the proof needed to fire him. When he got to work, they didn't let him in. I don't know how the conversations went, agreement, but I know some of the words exchanged.
You stole again, and we told you last time was your last chance.
I didn't do anything. You're always blaming me.
We have proof.
You don't have anything. All of you hate me.
Don't make me show you.
Well, show me.
Amy called our office.
John, could you bring the videos?
The first one, the video camera one, or the second, the cell phone one?
The second one.
When he heard that, he was defeated and very nervous. John took his time downloading the video into his computer because it was in mine, and went to the office where Amy was talking to Mario. John told me that he was about to show him the video, and then he asked Mario, "Mario, do you really want to watch this video?" He couldn't even look John in the eyes. "No, I don't want to."
Play at least the first video for him.
"I don't have that one. Let me go for it." I admit that I just wanted to see Mario's face, so I went to that office to give them a USB, but he didn't really look at me. Amy said to John and I,
"Okay, think that's gonna be all."
and we left the office. We know she said something like, after playing the video,
You always said it was us, and even told your mom that we wanted to get you in trouble all the time. You even said really bad things about this place. You are fired, and we don't ever want to hear about you or complaining to anyone else in the Central, or we're gonna show these 2 videos to your mom.
and he just left. Then we heard that he actually told lies to his mom, like,
They hated me and told lies to make them fire me.
but no one ever told his mom, not that I know of. Well, this story made me realize that someone could be recording me anywhere I go. I mean, even I did it to someone. Yeah, of course you're being recorded everywhere you go. That's what the government uses your phone for. Yeah, I just watched that one movie called Snowden on Netflix. It's a pretty cool movie. But man, imagine if that was real. Can you believe it? I'm joking. I know it was based off of true events. Snowden, my man. Anyway, yeah, it's not the best setting to be doing things like that. An office. But at least he's gone. And at least OP's chocolate will be safe. This story's called Swerving to Keep Ahead of Me? Okay, have fun at the light. So I'm driving in a major city on a road that is always a bit busy. I'm entering onto the highway and need to merge into the lane. In my area, common sense when merging is let one in front, one behind. Like a zipper, if that makes sense. Nice and efficient. Everybody's happy. At least everyone except this one guy in a black Mercedes. Dumbass steps on the pedal to try and get ahead of me. I was already halfway in the lane when he started to floor it, and then the left lane was congested at this particular spot. Slows down with maybe 2 to 3 feet between us and has the audacity to lay on his horn. After about a mile of tailgating me, he finally gets ahead of me, which, who in their right mind cares? The road ahead of us is much more open at this point. I thought he'd take off and I'd be able to forget about it. But wouldn't you know it, he starts to swerve into whichever lane I'm in. I changed lanes a few times to get past trucks, etc., trying to stay right in front of me the whole time. I'm not exactly sure what his plan was. He never tried to get me to stop or anything. He obviously wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. All I can say for sure is that it was obvious that he was trying to push my buttons. So I bide my time, knowing that ahead of us is an exit to a massive intersection between the 2 of the major highways in the city. This exit pretty commonly has a cop in the area where it branches off. Not a speed trap necessarily, as the cop is completely visible to all. This is important, and this particular spot has a higher rate of collisions. As we approach, I get into the right-hand lane as if I'm going to exit. Predictably, this idiot follows suit. I stay in the lane until the very last moment that I can legally and safely abort the exit, which I do in short order. Cop was right ahead of us as it happened, meaning the dumbass realized he wasn't gonna be able to cut me off again without overtly breaking traffic law right in front of an officer. This forced him to continue into the intersection, which is notorious for its long red lights. As I continued on my merry way, I looked to my right to see a grown grown-ass man in his mid-30s screaming his ass off, face looking like a ripe tomato. I laughed in a more exaggerated manner than was necessary while staring him down and flipped the bird until I was well past. Wonder how it felt, spending all that money on a nice car only to get outsmarted by someone over a decade younger in a crapmobile. If by some miracle this dude is reading this, not exactly sure what you expected. Also, get therapy. You clearly need it and can obviously afford it. Some people will take anything personally, even their own mistakes. They'll take that as a personal attack from you, and you really offended the guy. Alright, this story's called Secret Decaf. I worked for a company with an owner who let her daughter get away with anything. The daughter was my manager, and she would shriek at me so loud you could hear it from the parking lot. That's not an exaggeration. People would come in and ask what manager was mad about because they heard her going off as they locked their cars. But she also made me get her coffee. Venti sugar-free vanilla latte with soy milk. I'd go and ask the barista to make it decaf but not market. They always made me a secret decaf for her. Nice. And if she ever asks for pizza, get her gluten-free pizza. Dairy-free pizza, too.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.